Hey everyone, let's take a look at some vintage Citizen Promaster watches. Um, I'm mostly making this video because unfortunately these watches are going away. Like, I buy watches in bulk, I see things super cheap online and I take a risk and I see if I could bring it back to life with a new battery. Sometimes I get lucky, sometimes I don't. But this is a collection of watches from the 90s, I'm pretty sure. Some of these I got working, some of these don't. And that's unfortunate, but I don't think they're going to be a part of my collection anymore. So let's make a video on them because some of them I just haven't seen before and may not be online anywhere as a video. So nothing, I don't know how to review videos. I keep on saying that. So I thought I would just hold them up, showcase what they look like, and give some measurements, and kind of that's that. And I'll put like the part numbers, model numbers down in the description. Pretty sure all of these, yeah, all of these are from the 90s. Let's start with this guy. It is an Eco Drive, and that started in like the mid 90s, mid to late 90s, at least being branded that way. So you could tell it's semi-professional or professional. If you look at the back case, you see this like semicircular, like a rainbow of dates on it. That's for maintenance records. So every time you change the battery and get the gasket swapped out, they're supposed to take like a what's that thing that makes like a metal divot, like a push pin? The name escapes me. Like a mark. And you mark the actual the year and the time of the year for when you change the battery. So if you look at this scale, it goes from 96 to 06. So I'm going to guess that this watch came out in 95, 96. And it looks like it is the 7872 dash. So if I hold this so I can read it, the camera cannot. So 7872H04180. I think the first four numbers are the movement numbers. Really cool Promaster. The links are solid. Has a screw down crown. It is Eco Drive, and you can see it's working. It moves 2 seconds at a time, which means the cell is low, which kind of makes some sense for something this age. I'm actually surprised that there's a maintenance record thing since it's Eco Drive. That's probably more for the gasket maintenance and everything. But the bezel turns, it's unidirectional. It's one of these like flatter bezels. You kind of have to press into the watch to turn it. It's not super simple, but this style of watches where everything's kind of rounder indices, this was very common in the 90s. It's kind of disappeared. It's kind of an aesthetic that one thing I've noticed with clothing, cars, everything, like something 10 or 20 years old just looks old, and then something 30 years old like comes back. If that makes sense, it looks retro. I feel like this still looks kind of old, but it's coming back. Like the idea of two-tone, when I was a kid, that was a, I don't know, like a grandpa thing. It's just, it feels foreign, but now I kind of have a more of an appreciation for it. So the end link is hollow. The clasp on this one is stamped. It's kind of what you would expect for this time period. But otherwise, I think it's a pretty cool little watch here. Yeah. It's kind of hard to open. It's stiff. Yeah, like nowadays all the kind of the expectation is that would be solid and that's milled, but that's kind of a new thing. Let's get a measurement on this. It's a 39 millimeter watch without the crown. If we go end to end, 41, I'll say 41, and lug to lug, 44, and thickness is 11. So that's a pretty compact watch, a pretty nice watch, perfectly working, and I'm in the process of selling that elsewhere. And yeah, I'll probably miss it a little bit, but I just can't keep all the watches that I have. So that's the first one. The next one, this to me is like clearly a 90s style. Like reminds me of a lot of Tag Heuer watches. You could see the same thing. Again, you have to like press it into the bezel to turn it, but has a really nice clicky feel. Really, really cool. Kind of similar indices. It's also an air diver Eco Drive. So air divers, I'm not sure. I think that's people who like jump out of, like they dive, but they jump off of a helicopter, like search and rescue. I really don't know. I've tried looking that up a few times. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. But that's really cool. Titanium, this really, it's not integrated, but it may as well be. And that fits kind of okay on my wrist. I have a 7.5-inch wrist, but a little tight. Let's see. Yeah, we got some extension on this one for a mid-90s watch. It's pretty cool. Yeah, that actually feels really nice. This second hand is also moving 2 seconds at a time. 200-meter watch, obviously not pressure tested. I would get that done if I were going to use this, but cool little watch. What I like about this, though, it has the same semicircle for maintenance. Again, nothing touched on it, which leads me to believe it's still the original rechargeable battery. But it's a monocoque case. You see, you can't get in here. You can't remove the case. In order to service the battery, like I do everything myself, but not on these. I have a bezel remover, but I wouldn't want to risk it. They kind of pop this off, and I don't know how they remove the crown. On this watch, the crown is a little funky. You can see it's a little bit out of an angle here. And if you try to thread it in, it's easy to kind of thread into the wrong spot. But if you keep on trying, eventually you get it right. And that's a shame. But I think that's why I got the watch at the price I got it. And I'm selling it accordingly. But maybe I'll play with that off camera. If you play with this enough, you can... Yeah, I think that's as good as it's going to get. But it's a special, cool, fun little watch. And again, I just want to document these because I don't really see them all that much. And the model is a 7877. I think that's the movement, and H01911. I think that's the case. I'm not positive, so we'll keep these in the sun. I've charged them for a while, hoping they come back to full life. That doesn't seem like it's going to happen. So this guy right here, I've only seen this once. It's this one right here, and I had to pick it up. And I think I already sold it. I already have a buyer for it because it's kind of this weird spirally turbined two-tone bezel. Pretty cool. I don't know how well it comes off, but the dial is kind of aventurine. It's like a little bit of a sparkle. I'm right here by the blinds. Let me see if I can... Again, I'm kind of looking through my camera. It's hard to really tell, but yeah. A little short on bracelet. That's not going to go on me. But yeah, same thing, stamped everything. In this case, the bracelet itself is kind of hollow. I think this would look really good on an aftermarket, kind of like NATO or something, or just leather even. Same thing. You have the maintenance record semicircle. There's got to be a name for that. But titanium anti-magnetic, it's the 5512-F52089. I'll try to put all these in the description. And I wonder if on the dial, usually down here there's a number, and that's also the movement, but I think it says 5512 on there, dash something, yeah. So that leads me to believe it's the movement. You can see this has a little bit of wear. Like this is imprinted or laser etched, and you see it like fuzzing off, but for the most part, really cool. Another air diver, vintage. I'm calling these Promasters, but I think that's like a new... I don't think they've always been using the Promaster name, but yeah, that's that watch there. I haven't given dimensions on these, but it's not critical. It's not like I'm reviewing these watches. You can go to the store and pick one up. It's a 40 mil watch, 10 mil thickness, and what do we got? 45. So that's a little bigger. Still, by today's standards, that's a small watch. Let's go back, get the dimensions on this guy. 10.5. We could say 46 mil lug to lug. It's not integrated, but it's kind of integrated. That link is captive, so it's longer than that. Yeah, and the actual case, we'll say 40.5. Cool. Now, is that it for the ones that work? No. Plenty more of these are working. This guy right here. I don't think this is the original strap. I think it's the strap that it came on for me, so it has a little bit of like history with the watch. Doesn't say ProMaster. It is not solar, but this one's perfectly working. So the previous owner, I think, put in a new battery. I haven't had these long, all like a year or two. And it is a 2854-269381. Again, GN-4-S on these watches. Like every Citizen has that. Occasionally I see someone review one of these and they call it a GN-4-S. There's like 10,000 watches that have that on it. Pretty cool 8 o'clock crown. Citizen does that a lot, but usually on their mechanical watches. But I actually can't think of another quartz watch where they've done that, so that's kind of neat. The bezel turns, it's unidirectional. It does have a, it's kind of set back. It's probably not ceramic or something, but it is a nice bezel where there's some depth to it. You can kind of see. Kind of similar 90s indices. We can't really, the hour hand's covering the day, but it's a day date diver. And it's really, really thin and a really kind of fun watch. I guess I cleaned this, but I didn't do a great job cleaning in there. I think if that was cleaned, this would be kind of special. And, you know, this is a fieldy kind of strap, but on, again, like a single pass NATO or something, or just a nice leather strap, I think this could be pretty cool. Pretty cool. Let's see. That's hard to turn. Yeah, like a modern watch has a nice grip there. This is the Seiko that I was wearing, right? It has like coin edge, easy to turn. I don't know what it was about the 90s. Maybe when you're underwater, you're just going to use this differently. Maybe this was easier to turn when it was new. I don't know. I've tried on other watches lubricating these with like a silicone spray, and it actually really works very well. Maybe I should do that on this, but looks like a slightly boxed crystal. Let's see. What is that thickness? Yeah, 9.5. That's a thin watch. And the actual case is 38.5. And 42 lug to lug. Yeah, that's a compact watch. I think with a little bit of lubrication, a little bit of cleaning, and a different strap, that would be kind of special. Yeah, so let's set that aside. Which one do we do next? Yeah, we'll pick up this one. This one's kind of special, and I'm a little sad to say goodbye to this. So it is an Atessa, so I'm pretty sure that means it has radio atomic time. I think that's what a Atessa line is. So that means it's not a ProMaster, but it's also a monocoque case. We see here, titanium. And what's the model? A C605-Q00648. Pretty cool watch. Okay, so it is a bidirectional friction bezel. I really love the airplane second hand, and I love the Anadigi here. I think I tested this. All the pushers were working. It's just a push-pull crown. Yeah. So I don't know if it picks up time where I live, if this was Japan only. See, there's a little bit of a abrasion there. That's a bummer. That actually looks like it got a knock in that direction. But otherwise, I just thought this was a really cool watch. Yeah. Atessa. Before it was called ProMaster, I forget what it may not have been called anything, but they had a land, air, and sea watches, like the classic Aqualand, and the I think it was called the Flightman. No, it was like the Airman. Anyways, each of those had a name, and this reminds me of that kind of early Air one. There's an Anadigi. And it's a little bit thicker at 13 mils. Let's see, a case thickness. We'll go here. 41, and lug to lug of 47. So that's bigger so far than any of these, but compared to some watches today, it's still tiny. That doesn't fit. We could just do that. Cool watch. I think yeah, this is not solar. It could use a new battery, and I think the contrast would improve on the Anadigi segments. Do I see? I thought it was solar because the dial seemed like pretty dark and rich, almost like a solar panel, but it's not. It's just like a mirror blue-black dial. Really cool. And gold bordered, clearly vintage style 90s watch. Pretty cool. You know, it's a bummer. If I had the space, time, and money to keep all of these, I would, but I like getting my hands on them, seeing if I could bring it back to life. I wear them for a little bit, and then move them on. So that's why I'm making the videos, just to kind of take a snapshot of time for how these are before kind of passing them on. This watch is really cool. Again, 2 seconds at a time, so it could use some more charge. You have these Mercedes hands, and I don't know a name for these indices. They remind me of like the Seiko Monster almost, but just a couple of teeth, if that makes sense. But this sort of index, you see them a lot, and it was, again, popular in the 90s. I don't know about this strap. This is, I think the strap, what a weird, it's kind of a land strap, but if I wore this every day, I would definitely wear this on. I don't know. Leather on a dive watch is like a sin, but it looks really good. Or a single pass strap. So the original label is still on there. No one peeled it off. It's also a monocoque titanium case. Really cool little watch. What is the model? I know there's a BN0000 that's really popular, and I don't think this is that, but it's the 7877-H04-169. So that's the same movement as one of these guys. Yeah, these are the same movement, and they have roughly the same size. They're both Mercedes. They share a lot in common. They're both solar. Right. I would like to replace the battery, but because it's monocoque, then you need to send this in for service or risk it yourself. But that feels really good. Probably the nicest bezel of the bunch. Probably the nicest watch of the bunch. If I was cool with having hundreds of watches, this one would probably stay with me. That one works just fine. Screw down. Feels great. It's really on the wrong... when I sell watches, it helps to just put it on some kind of strap. But I'm not going to put it on my favorite top quality straps. Just sell it with some kind of strap, just so the next owner can get some use right away if they don't have one. But ultimately, people are going to put whatever favorite strap they want on it, so you don't have to go nuts. But man, that's a cool watch. I wouldn't be surprised if it's the same as that BN quadruple zero. Let's see the size on that. 11 mils. 40 mil case size. Sorry if I'm boring you, but I'm not a professional YouTuber. I have a full-time job. I just like watches, so you got to take that into account. I could be doing other things, but I like this. I didn't even pay attention to what that measurement was. 43. Yeah, so kind of a compact watch. I think this originally came on silicone or like rubber strap. Man, what a shame. Like, I don't know what it would cost to replace the battery on this. I'm going to guess you send it to a service center and it's New battery, new gasket seal, pressure test, everything from a legit place. Yeah, it's more than $50, unfortunately. I think it's $100. I've sent watches into Citizen that were like not under warranty, and I think I spent like that to get them fixed. Kind of a bummer. So another watch on this similar weird. It's like a nylon Bund strap, both of these. And you know, this one's not moving now, but I think it was. I think it was moving just fine after a lot of sun, but it died. Just like the others, could use a new solar cell. Hey. What do we have here? What's our model? Looks like the 7872-L15049. So that is the same movement as this guy. I think. Yeah. Well, that makes sense. Similar size. I don't know what this sub-brand is. It says Oxy on it, but then you could see smaller below it says Citizen. There were a lot of watches from this time period that said Oxy. I don't know if that, you know, it's not a separate brand because it says Citizen. It's like a line of watches. Really cool. The dial, the solar panel has this kind of like hexagonal, like beehive kind of structure. Let's see if the light can bring that out a little more. Pretty nice. I wouldn't be surprised if a battery just brings this back to life. I'm pretty sure I had this ticking, but yeah, it's a bit of a bummer. And unlike some of the other watches, this one is very easy to turn, very grippy, very nice, very simple. Let's get a size on that. $11 lug to lug, 43, and case size 39. So compact-esque watch. And the last watch, unfortunately, this is a big disappointment. I put a new battery in and it did not come back to life. I think I tried the AC reset and everything. It's a C162-E80061. What is it? Is it Airman? Or, you know, as soon as I stop recording, I'll remember the name. That's how it works. But this has a cool AnyDigi, very reminiscent of that original, like a vintage Citizen watch. It is titanium. It is in excellent shape. I'm pretty sure the same movement is used in other watches. A part of me really wanted to hold on to this until I found like a similar watch with that same movement, but maybe in bad physical shape, and swap it in. Because look at this. This is still in great shape. It is an integrated bracelet, and those are hollow. Those are kind of rolled links. Let's see if I can fit that. But you know, I have enough projects. No, it's not going to fit on a 7.5 inch wrist. I have too many ongoing projects, so I thought give it a best chance, try to bring it back to life. And so that works very well. I wish I could make a pusher push and do something. But, yeah. What a shame. Yeah, so maybe that's how we should do this. Bring the light up to, let's say, put that right in the center here. And give it just enough light where I could bring it in and out. I'll see after I watch this video how things look. And maybe in the future, I'll just like play with my lighting. But I think that's it. That's it for my half working, half broken, half Promaster, half not collection of vintage watches. Hope you enjoyed that, and I hope you skipped through. Like, you don't have to spend all 24 minutes. But if you did, I appreciate that. If you like watches, I have hundreds of watches, and I'm getting rid of them. Subscribe to my channel. I think that would be really, really cool. And I have a ton of Citizens, Seikos, and Casios. I'm a big fan of Japanese watches, mostly quartz, like high-tech kind of watches. Not all, though. I have plenty of automatics as well. I plan on making like a video a week or something, and If you want to see them, yeah, subscribe. And if you have any comments on these, you know something about them, or you had them or something, let me know. I guess comment on that. And like this video. Yeah, I'd like to have more people want to know that I do this for a reason. So that's that. That's it for me. All right. Thank you. Bye.